This is me. This is my beloved wife, Sylvia. This is Sylvia's idea of sailing. This is my dream of sailing and my hope of circumnavigating the globe as a retirement project in 2029. This is Sylvia's reaction to that idea. I am on a 6-year quest to convince Sylvia that a circumnavigation is a wonderful adventure, but the clock is ticking, so join me as I search for the perfect yacht that Sylvia will love, and get all your ladies to subscribe and cheer Sylvia on in the comments. Welcome back to Naval Gazing at Camp David. Today we are going to Roquefort, France to have a future yacht virtual look at Nautitech's much anticipated new flagship, the Nautitech 48 Open. Today, we are going to 1. Review its specifications, pricing and layout against 3 similar new vessels. 2. Do a full tour asking, what would Sylvia say? 3. Naval gaze at an innovation and or adjustment that might make life aboard just a little easier. 4. Have a look at the used market for 3 to 5-year-old pre-owned comparables. And 5. Finally, give it a Dave score and compare the results with all our previously reviewed yachts. All this fun will be sandwiched between a pairing of wine and a work of art from the same region as the guest yacht in an effort to capture the culture and people who gave birth to these wonderful vessels. Waves, wine, art, and ideas. What a great way to spend 30 minutes. So let's get going. From high above Vancouver, we head east across the continent and the Atlantic to the northwest of France and the home of last week's monohull madness, the Dufour 61. From here, we head south down the coast to Roquefort and the yards of Bavaria's catamaran group, Nautitech. Hopping inland, we quickly come to Chateau de Sancerre and their Chateau de Sancerre Sancerre Blanc. Chateau de Sancerre is a renowned wine estate situated in the heart of the Loire Valley in France. The history of this vineyard dates back to the 10th century when monks first started cultivating vines on the hills surrounding the town of Sancerre. The chateau itself was built in the 13th century and has since been a significant landmark in the region. In the 19th century, the estate was purchased by the Mellot family and has been in their hands for 6 generations, making them one of the oldest wine-growing families in the Loire Valley. Today, Chateau de Sancerre is known for producing high-quality, elegant Sauvignon Blanc wines that reflect the unique terroir of the area. Chateau de Sancerre Sancerre Blanc is a bright and refreshing white wine with pronounced citrus and mineral aromas on the nose. The palate is clean and crisp with flavors of green apple, grapefruit, and a slight herbal note. It finishes with a mouth-watering acidity and a long, lingering finish. Perfect for pairing with seafood salads and light pasta dishes.
Oh, that's lovely. You're going to enjoy that. Let's go have a look at that boat.
Having a look at this new 48 Open. I mean, she is a gorgeous yacht. Look at these lines. You've got the aft open helms, which eliminates even a mid-level helm sticking above the line of the roof line. And the result is something that is absolutely spectacular. Today, we're going to be comparing it with the Tana 47, the Portofino 47, the Balance 482, and the Nautitech 48 Open. Starting with the Tana 47, there's nothing wrong with that profile. It's a little boxy and quite a high freeboard, but a good-looking vessel and with 129 square meters of upwind sail area. The Portofino 47, this is a dark horse. Nothing completed yet, completely aluminum, but that hull shape, that profile doesn't look aluminum. It's not the typical sharp lines. They've got some beautiful detail to the hull lines. The reverse window, forward window, I quite like, both from a heat and glare area as well as shelter when you're exiting into what is a real forward cockpit on this. So I'm dying to see this Portofino 47, the first one out. Next is the Balance 42. I love balance. I love everything about balance. I love the feel when I get on board. Every detail is perfect. Everything feels like it's overbuilt. It is just a tremendous sense of solidity when you get on board a Balance. And you can see the profile here, quite a high freeboard, but everything curves, everything's nice. It's a beautiful vessel. The Nautitech 48 Open, however, man, they've done a beautiful job on the silhouette of this vessel. She is low to the water, looks sleek, looks like she's traveling at about 10 knots right there. And it's really a very attractive. The designers have done a great job. Looking at the upwind sail area, of course, the Portofino is in the lead at 141, followed by the Balance 42 at 133. Then you've got the Tana 47 at 129 and the Nautitech 48 Open at 127.5. Hopping down onto the cabin tops. So here we have two of the four with a fly a fly lounge. Well, one of the four has a fly lounge, which is the Tana 47. The Portofino 47 has a full fly bridge. Of course, the Balance 482, clean as a whistle up there. Lots of room for that high-performance ventilated glass solar that Phil likes to put up there. And you've got the split-level helm on this with the Versa helm that takes you right down in, and you cover over that helm opening, and you have full shelter. And then the Nautitech 48 Open, they've gone old school. So we've got the helm seats way out the back, right to the sides on the hulls. I mean, exciting to sail, wonderful visibility up the side of the hulls and up into your sails, with the one concern that you are open to the elements. Now, they do have some nice canvas biminis that go over top those, but you are going to be exposed to the elements. Mind you, every monohull sailor, save for those that have the new hardtops, have had that for the last hundreds of years. So, it's really up to what you're willing to tolerate and what you're interested in. Hopping down into the saloons now, you can see the overall space here. The Nautitech 48 Open, she's a fairly small saloon compared to the rest of them. You can see the size delta here. You don't have the beam on the saloon that you do in the Balance 42 or in the Tana 47. And you don't have the fore-aft depth that you do in the Portofino 47. The fore-aft depth is about the same as the Balance and a little less than the Tana 47. So your sense of space in there is going to be less than the others. Having said that, the level of finish on the Nautitechs, and we're going to have a second look at the 44 Open because the one in Miami had the walnut finish, and wow, what a difference it made to the overall feel of that interior. The finish in the Nautitechs has always been above par, and I don't anticipate that they'll let us down on this one either. So, yeah, you're going to have a little less space, but probably a higher sense of overall quality and aesthetic, save for the Balance 42, which is hard to beat. Hopping down into the accommodations, you can see the Nautitech 48's focus on performance more than your production yachts. Has those quite narrow hulls. They've got four aft berths for the owner's suite there. A nice sized forward head with twin sinks. Neil, please take note, twin sinks. And then, overall a great use of space. On the guest side, you have a great series of choices here. They have taken, of course, the aft cabin is about the same as the owner's suite as far as bunk space goes. Then you've got a starboard side head. Again, twin sinks. Neil, place to take note. Twin sinks. And then the forward four-peak berth is either a berth or this fabulous versatile workroom and laundry room or office or any number of other things. And we'll look at that. We're seeing that a lot. We saw it sort of pioneered by Leopard, and then we've seen it in the Excess. I know that Balance offers that same versatility. And I know HH offers that same versatility. So it's a really neat trend. Outremer offers the same versatility, especially in their 52, which looks absolutely great. The one thing here is that, again, it is a very narrow bunk for the owner suite in the Nautitech 48. They didn't go with an athwartship berth that gives you three-side access, as you can see in the Nautitech, in the Balance 482. You can also see it in the Portofino 47. Tana 47 has an athwartship, but they've put it as a guest suite instead of an owner suite. However, their fore-aft owner's berth has a lot of room around that bed, making it really a three-side access bed. So, you know, that is the drawback on the Nautitech 48. It's more performance-oriented. So for those of you who don't mind crawling into bed from the base, or not worried about sort of disturbing your spouse as you get in or out, yeah, it's great. Nothing different than an Outremer or an HH. Not my favorite, but there you go. Diving into the numbers, as we go across the top line here, you're going to see that the Tana 47 base price of 769,000 euros is the most economical, followed by, surprisingly, the Portofino 47 at 783.8. So 784. Fingers crossed they can pull that off. Then the Nautitech at 900, and the Balance at $1,026,000. Heading down, length overall on these, the longest one is 0.8 feet, followed by the Portofino at 51 feet, followed by the Nautitech at 47.75, and the Tana 47 at 45.7. The beam on this, the beamiest of the bunch is the Portofino at 8.4 meters, followed by the Nautitech at 7.97, followed by the Balance at 7.9, and the Tana 47 at 7.7. Looking at draft, who is the shallowest here? Well, it's the Balance 482 with its dagger boards up at 1.16 meters, followed by the Tana 47 at 1.2 meters, which is pretty good given mini keels. Then you've got the Portofino at 1.3 meters, again, pretty good given mini keels. And the Nautitech is the deepest at 1.55, again, probably due to a more performance-oriented focus on that. As we look at upwind sail area, the Tana at 129 and the Nautitech at 127.5. As far as displacement goes, the lightest of the bunch is the Balance, which isn't a big surprise given the beautiful way they're built, at 12.5, 7,558 pounds. The next one is the Nautitech. Again, that performance focus at 29,768 pounds, or 13.5 metric tons. Followed then by the Tana at 32,410, followed very closely by the Portofino 47 with its beautiful Go Anywhere aluminum hull at 33,100 pounds. As we head then down into the engines, it's pretty much the same across. The Nautitech, however, does have the biggest horsepower at 60 horsepower. Next is the Portofino at 57, the Tana at 50, and the Balance at 45. Tankage on this, as we look across, it's the Fountain Peugeot that sort of leads the bunch at 940 liters of fuel and 700 liters of water. Beyond that, you're looking at The balance at 800 and 780, so basically 800 and 800 water and fuel. Then the Nautitech at 600 and 600, and the Portofino at 440 and 550. Heading into the more performance-oriented details, looking at hull material. So debatable, but you know, as far as durability and quality and all that good stuff, assuming you keep electrolysis under control, you can't beat the Portofino's aluminum hull. So I would put it in the lead. The next one, of course, is going to be the Balance 482 with e-glass vacuum bag, heat foam formed closed cell foam cores, combination of a polyester inner skin and a vinyl ester outer skin, carbon fiber reinforcements at the high load areas. The next is going to be the Nautitech fiberglass and vacuum bag closed cell foam cores with a combination of polyester inner skin resin and vinyl ester outer skin. And finally, the Tana 47, a foam core of PVC foam, fiberglass fabrics, polyester resin, and gel coats to avoid osmosis. And there you go. So aluminum first, I would say, although debatable depending on what you want to do, but then you got your balance, which is polyester and vinyl ester outer with carbon fiber reinforcements. Then your Nautitech, which is basically the same but without the carbon fiber reinforcements. And then you've got the more traditional Tana 47 foam core with polyester. Heading into the performance indicators, sail area to displacement, which is indicative of power. So the most powerful one here is going to be the Balance 42 at 25.12, followed by the Portofino at 22.89, followed very closely by the Nautitech at 22.86, and then the Tana 47 at 21.9. Then there's a displacement to length, or hull length at the waterline, which is indicative of heaviness. And of course here, lowest number wins, and that lowest number is the Balance at 111.24. Followed by the Nautitech, again indicative of its performance orientation at 128. Then the Tana at 158 and the Portofino at 162. Comfort ratios on these, by the looks of things, the Tana is going to be the most comfortable in heavy seas, followed by the Portofino, Nautitech, and the Balance. And then looking at hull speed, which is simply sort of an indicator of length, we're looking at the Balance at 9.3 knots, the Nautitech at 9.2 knots, and the Portofino and Tana at 9 knots. Now, the KSP, which indicates theoretical speed at 10 knots of wind, we're looking at the leader is, of course, the Balance at 7.9 knots, or 79% of wind speed, followed by, there's your Nautitech, at 7.4 knots, or 74% of wind speed, followed by the Fountain Peugeot at 72%, and the Portofino 47 at 71%. Still not a bad number given the strength and durability of that aluminum hull. Hopping on board, what would Sylvia say? Overall, I think she'd be in favor of this boat. She wouldn't note the exposed aft helms because she's not a sailor, so she wouldn't have an opinion either way there. But the aesthetic of this boat is very beautiful. The finish is very nice. She might not like the bunks, but if I promise to make the bed, we're okay there. But have a look around the cockpit here. Very well organized, clear run straight over to the port helm there. Real easy access. You've got all your controls here. Kind of funky octagon wheel they've got going on there. But you know, handholds everywhere you look as you're going through there. Lots of space in the cockpit, beautiful aft settee, and the seats for the helm stations are incredibly comfortable if they're anything like the 44 Open. So you have nice convertible tables in here along with open settees. All of your lines run straight back to your jammers there. Nothing on the side decks. all of your controls right there at your disposal. So, a little navel gazing. This week we're going to look at Volvo Penta's assisted docking system. So the assisted docking is a complete new docking experience. Previously, with traditional docking, you manually have to compensate for wind and current all the time, or the boat will drift away. Assisted docking takes care of the problem with the elements and keeps the boat in place all the time. And it's a completely new level of easy boating. On a very windy day, when you turn off the function, the boat drifts a lot. If you turn it on, assisted docking, just by pushing a button on the joystick, you just move forward by pressing the joystick forward in a straight line. It's like a corridor when you're laying out two lines in front of the boat, and then you can move forward. You can see on the display that you are moving forward when you have the blue lines activated on the display. You can move sideways by tilting the joystick to the side. At any time, you can pause by releasing the joystick, and the boat will stand still in a fixed position. When you are standing still, you can easily turn the joystick to rotate around the fixed position that you have without drifting. By tapping the joystick, you can move in small increments. Side push is a function where you can fix your position against a dock. You use the joystick to give a little bit of force towards the dock, and then you activate the side push in the display, and it will hold its position. You can also fine-tune your alignment with a dock or a position. You simply twist the joystick and it gives you a couple of degrees in changed heading. Assisted docking simply removes the dynamics of the elements and lets you take charge of the boat's direction and lets the boat move where you intended it to go no matter what. If you set the direction, the boat will follow the path until you decide a new direction. You can actually dock slowly even if you have a big boat and a lot of wind, which today is very difficult. So this is one step beyond Dockmate or Yacht Controller, which basically coordinate bow, stern, thrusters, dual engines with a joystick, a wireless joystick in your hand, allowing you to basically move the boat wherever you want from anywhere on the boat or the dock. This adds an additional function of intelligence and sensors which measures current, GPS, wind speed, windage, and basically when you move that joystick, you don't have to consciously compensate for those. It compensates for you and allows you to move the boat without thinking about those variables, which sounds quite extraordinary. Now, I'm not sure if this system is can be coordinated with non-Volvo bow stern thrusters, that sort of thing. But the bottom line is the coding and the sensor coordination and the onboard systems coordination exists today to do this. So you could easily see this now eventually integrated into a Dockmate or a Yacht Controller, giving you a third-party solution, wireless, that makes all of the yelling and shouting and panic of moving a boat like this around disappear. How awesome would that be? Back on board, looking around and up, you've got a double spreader mast, your lazy bag there, all your controls here at the starboard helm. Will head up the weather decks here onto the bow on the port side, looking up and down. Beautiful wide steps up onto the cabin top. I think that's terrific. You're not scared or worried, very secure as you make that move, and they look incredibly elegant. Everything looks clean and elegant and beautiful here. All of your recessed hatches. You've got a faux forward cockpit there where they're using mats and cushions and a little bit of teak inlay there to really create a sense of a forward cockpit. It's great. I mean, you get one of those beautiful sunshades that you hang from your halyard and you're off to the races. I can't think of anything much nicer than laying there. I actually walked across one of those mats as it lay on the trampolines on a Fountain Peugeot, and it was staggering the difference it made to the comfort as you walked across. So back on the starboard helm, looking across, very nice sized davits there. Again, you've got beautiful settee on the port side and a really nice dining area with convertible tables on the starboard side, and then a beautiful aft settee looking straight forward. Really nicely executed. I'm not quite sure where the barbecue will go, and you know I've got to have a barbecue or I would starve to death. But I'm sure it'll come. One thing to note there, they've extended the shelter for the cockpit with those side clears, those vertical side clears, which are really nice. Lots of cup holders. Now inside, I saw this at on the walnut unit. They've done little beautiful touches like that logo they've got on the compression post there. One thing I'm not sure about is that forward center stand-up table bar-ish thing. Takes a lot of space. It might be the bee's knees. I don't know. When I first look at it, I go, ah. But your galley is fantastic. Nice and secure U-shaped galley. Regardless, you've got nice double sinks there. You've got nice stainless steel fiddles. And, you know, a fairly nice settee. A little small for the size of this vessel. I'm not a big fan of all of the extra stools sitting around. I'm not a big fan of the stool at the nav station, but it is a very nice nav station. I'd far rather have a swing out chair that was a real chair if I'm going to be sitting there doing anything. Nice chest refrigeration you saw there. Heading down into the owner's hull, you can see a nice makeup table desk area there with storage underneath. Good sized owner's berth. Again, you see it's wall-to-wall mattress, so you don't have access up or down either side. So Dave's going to be making the bed on that one for sure if Sylvia went for it. But they do have fabulous light in here with a nice big aft window. You got ventilation in the ceiling. You got opening ports on the side window. So lots of light and air in here that makes this really a very, very comfortable and elegant space. You see that headboard, the headboard lights there, nice little touches there. And again, it doesn't show up, I think, in the renders, but the quality of their veneers and their Alpi wood that they use in this, it's really well done. It's a level above. This nice little desk area here with storage underneath. Very useful. Again, you've got the fiddles, you've got lighting, beautiful port lights and an opening port right there, and then lots of hanging storage along the sides here. As we head back then into the head, this is a very, very nice head. So the shower, full separate shower into the forepeak, nice teak inlays in the floor. Large mirrors opening up the feel of this space very nicely. Double sinks, Neil, please take note, double sinks. You know, good sense of counter space there. And then across the way behind this, you can see it in the mirror, you've got a nice shelf area for Sylvia's mobile pharmacy that gets laid out. And lots of space to store things underneath that. Beautiful ventilation in the ceiling, in the side port there. You've got an opening port. So I think you're going to be very, very comfortable in here as far as light and air and space goes. So let's head back now and up and over to the other side through our galley. Quick look out the back, and we'll head to the starboard side guest cabins. Moving down the hall, we're going to head to the head, the side head here. So you've got a nice large window in the side hull, nice opening hatch for ventilation, lots of mirror usage. It's a dry head, single sink, nice teak inlay into the shower floor, and a really elegant looking shower door there. Again, your fit and finish and your sense of luxury are just that much better on the Nautitech product. Heading now to the aft guest VIP suite. You have, again, the wall-to-wall bed. You've got nice window on the side, opening port in that window. You've got a nice window at the aft, opening port in that window, and you've got an overhead vent as well. Light, airy, beautiful headboard, beautiful LED lights, adjustable LED lights, and nice little areas for storage beside the bed. Again, David's going to be making that bed because it can't be accessed on 3 sides, and that's the only way Sylvia will say yes. Heading forward, this is the fun part. So here is your, your versatile room that you can use. And in this case, you've got it lowered into a single berth or desk space where it drops down. You have that little desk that comes out, and you're tapping away as you look out over the ocean. Pretty nice environment for a home office. Not bad at all. However, that's not just the only configuration. Let's have a little montage of the variations that this room can be for you. Heading back upstairs into that lovely saloon. Again, you've got little nice branding elements like that stripe that goes right through the ceiling over to the compression posts, leading to a beautiful gold logo inset there. It's a very nice feeling space. It's not the biggest of the bunch as we saw, but it's certainly nothing to complain about. Then you step out onto your back porch. You've got indirect lighting in your overhead bimini, and that's a good looking boat. I would drive away from that in my dinghy and think, wow, I really live there. That's fantastic. Okay, let's have a look at pre-owned comparables, and just bearing in mind that we take the base price of whatever we're looking at, especially in the production boats, and we add 50% for a sail away price that you'd want to actually sail away in. And in this case, that brings our price to 1.449431. Let's call it $1.5 million US. So first up, we are comparing this to a 2020, a 2-year-old Leopard 50. So we're looking at 1.5-ish, 1.45. 1.45 for our new Nautitech 48 Open. Our 2-year-old Leopard 50 is going to cost us 1.4. It's going to have a few extra toys. It doesn't have the level of luxury feeling to the finish, but wow, does it have a lot of other things. If I'm not as concerned about whatever speed I'm cruising at, I'm going with the Leopard on this one. Next up, we are looking at 2019 Exquisite Yachts X5. We just reviewed this yacht last week. It's just a wonder. It's a beautiful yacht, incredible quality, incredible hull, incredible tech. The aesthetic on the outside, inside, well, it's up to you. But here they're asking 1.3 versus our 1.45. This is a 3-year-old yacht, but I'm sorry, I'd be doing the Exquisite. Next up is a 3-year-old Saba 50. They're asking 1.1-ish versus our 1.45. This would be hard. The Saba 50 would probably be Sylvia's pick because of the room around the beds and just a few other things. I would struggle. This one is up in the air for me. Next up, we're looking at a 2022 Bally 48 4.8. They're looking at 1.250 versus 1.45. And I know there'll be those that cringe out there, but I'd go with the Bally on this. You just can't get over the luxury, the feel, the comfort, and honestly, the indicative numbers on the Bally 48's performance aren't that bad. Again, bearing in mind what I'm doing. So I'd go with the Bally. Next up, we're looking at a Lagoon 50, 2021, so a 2-year-old boat. They're looking at 1.259 versus 1.450. If I could get past my worries of whether or not the bulkhead issues affect this 50 model, I'd do the 50. And finally, we are looking at a 2022 one-year-old Dufour Catamaran 48. They're looking $1 million versus 1.450. I'd have to go the Dufour on this one. Not the Dufour. I'd have to go with the Nautitech on this one. My apologies. Even with the delta in cost, the Nautitech feel and trim and quality and luxury, plus performance, there's just so much more there. I mean, I like the Dufour, but I really do like the way they finish off the Nautitech 48. Okay, on to monohull heresy. What would we look at if we're looking at a monohull here? Again, we add 20% to the length to allow for the livability room, equivalent livability room in a monohull versus catamaran. So first up, we're looking at a Beneteau 2021 Yacht 62. One-year-old boat, 1 or 2-year-old boat. They're looking at 1.2 versus 1.445. I'd probably go with the Nautitech on this one. Next up, we're looking at 2018, so 4-year-old Beneteau since 57. They're looking for $875. It's approaching half the price, 60% of the price. But for me, I'd still go with the Nautitech. I'm just not going to get the space or livability that I want on the Sense. 2018 Jeanneau 58, so 4-year-old boat. They're looking, they're only looking at $600,000 versus 1.5. I wouldn't really like it, but I'd have to go with the Jeanneau 58 on this one. And finally, we have one of my favorites, a 2019 Hansa 588. And that's with the hard top, all the goodies, a 3-year-old boat, and they're looking at half the price of the Nautitech. I'm afraid I'd have to go with the Hansa 588 and hope that Sylvia would tolerate the healing. Okay, moving on to the Dave score. How did she do? And you can see as we go through all the ones we've looked at, she's sort of mid-pack. Which would make sense given all the variables. Elegance, interior, she scores an 8. Beautiful interior if it lives up to what they've done so far. Exterior, got a 7 there. Comfort, we'll give it a 7. It's a little small on the interior, but it's very nicely done. Exterior, we're going to give it a 6. That probably should have been a 7 given that faux front cockpit setup they got there, although I got to throw all those cushions out to make it happen, but there you go. Quality, I'm going to give it an 8. This is an above quality manufacturer. Performance, we're going to give it a 7. The Lazy Sailor, a 7. Condo, a 7. Geek factor, a 6. There's nothing really to geek out here unless you're a technical sailor and love those aft helms. And value for money, a 7. That brings her to a 70 out of 100, putting her with the FP 45, the Windaloo 44, the Neil 51. Which, yeah, it makes sense, all said. For our Art of the Region pairing today, we're enjoying Gaston Ballandé, 1880 to 1971. And his Volières aux Portes de la Rochelle, 1951. Gaston was a French painter born in 1880. He studied at the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, where he was influenced by the post-impressionistic and Fauvist movements. Ballandé focused on landscape and cityscape painting, creating vivid and colorful scenes with loose, expressive brushstrokes. He exhibited his works at the Salon de Automne and the Salon des Indépendances, and later became a member of the Société des Artistes Français. Ballandé's career spanned over 6 decades, during which he gained a reputation as a skilled and innovative painter. His work can be found in museums and private collections around the world. Ballandé passed away in 1971 at the age of 91. Well, there you have it. That's our Waves, Wine, Art, and Ideas for this week. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing this boat in the flesh as I